Hi, investors and traders. My name is Michael White. Let me introduce myself in a few words. 9 years ago, I started playing internet poker. I have 2 master degrees in mathematics and econometrics, so it wasn't hard for me to learn how to win this game. I was a winner, but I had problems with my emotions. Playing poker was so stressful for me that I had to take a break. Next, I started investing on Forex, but the story repeated. I wondered how to fix it. I had problems with my emotions. They defined me if I was a winner or a loser. Hence, I spent next years on learning about my emotions, how to motivate, create and change habits, how to improve results, and be a happy person. I applied this knowledge in my life and I am satisfied. I also decided to share my experience with other people. I run a blog about trading psychology, YouTube channel, I publish articles on FSP and trade to win websites. Today I want to tell you how to trade less and achieve more. I will not give you any theoretical advices. I want to give you methods which I use every day in my life. I know that there are many people who think that the key is hard work. It's somehow true because without hard work, you will not achieve anything. But your work should also be smart because otherwise, you will only spend a lot of time, effort, and money and don't achieve anything. I guess that you know traders who spend years on learning trading methods, attend seminars, pay for indicators, watch news, and they still lose. Maybe you're one of them. On the other hand, there are traders who spend very little time on trading and win. If you want to be one of them, then listen to this webinar. Like I said, you should work smart. But what is a smart work or a smart trading? In my opinion, work is smart if it gives you results that you want. For example, if you trade and observe markets, then you can easily notice that there are hours when there are usually big moves and hours when the market is rather stable. Hence, you focus on hours when you can observe these big moves and ignore hours when markets are stable. During that time, you do some other work, read books, or have fun with your friends. Or I will give you a second example. You trade for some time 5 currencies, and after 1 year, you investigate your results. You see that 80% of your results come from one pair. For example, Euro USD, because it's easy for you to spot trends on this pair. On the other hand, you have problems with catching trends on other pairs. Hence, what would do a smart trader in this situation? He or she would focus on Euro USD and ignore other currencies. Or maybe he or she would search for pairs with similar trends like on Euro USD and trade them. Why? Because if you focus on something which you are good at, then you can spend little effort and get big results. Of course, you may want to spend a lot of hours on trading because you want to get rich quick. But in this situation, you will achieve much more if you focus only on issues which give you the biggest results. Okay, before I will give you some more concrete advices, I want to tell you about one more example from my life. It will show you how to plan your work smart and get the biggest results from your input. This year I wanted to visit Colombia. During my previous trips, I discovered that it's much more pleasant if you know local language. Because of that, I decided to learn Spanish. How long it should take me to communicate in this language? During my formal education, I learned English for 14 years, and I remember that even after such a long time, I wasn't good. I had to meet with real people and communicate with them to become confident and speak English without any doubts. 14 years doesn't sound good. I didn't have so much time. I wanted to visit Colombia this year. But on the other hand, I remember one story. Few years ago, I visited part of Ukraine where people speak Russian. I made it with 2 friends of mine. They didn't know any Russian before that trip. But after 3 weeks of communicating with local people, they were able to communicate. They had even Russian friends and spoke with them. On the other hand, on my university, I had friends who spent 3 years on learning Russian, and even after so big amount of time, they even didn't know Russian alphabet, which is much different from Latin. Okay, so what I can learn from this story if I want to learn Spanish in a fast and efficient way? I just need to start communicating in this language. I don't need to spend 14 years and a lot of money on learning it. I can save my time and money and do it in much more efficient and pleasant way. Because of that, I read few stories about people who learned new languages very quickly, and I followed their guidelines. I spent no more than 30 minutes per day for few months on learning Spanish vocabulary and practicing with some app. After that experience, I was able to communicate in Colombia, order a meal in a restaurant, fix some stuff in a hotel, talk with taxi drivers, Learning in this way was much more pleasant than going to school, and I also saved a lot of time. I have just showed you my way of thinking. How do I think about achieving goals? The most important for me is being efficient. I don't care if my solution is unordinary or stupid for someone. I only care if it works and gives me results. If it sounds interesting for you, then wait a minute because I'm gonna tell you how to apply this mindset on financial markets and in trading. I want to present you the main idea of this presentation. The idea is that the results of any process are mostly dependent on few factors. It's not my idea. It was discovered and observed in many fields. It's called Pareto rule or 80-20 rule. In 1896, Pareto published his paper where he noted that 80% of Italy's land was owned by 20% of the population. He then carried out surveys on a variety of other countries and found to his surprise that a similar distribution applied. Pareto principle was also confirmed in 1992 United Nations Development Programme report, which showed that the richest 20% of the world's population controlled almost 83% of the world's income. Pareto principle is also often observed in business. If you run a business or your friend is a businessman, then it's easy to observe that only few of your customers, around 20%, generate most of your profits, around 80%. Okay, but can you apply this knowledge in trading? Of course you can. Pareto rule is observed in economical processes, so also here. First, we need to define what is our goal. It's making money. It sounds easy, but it's not. It's important how you think about this goal. You may think that because you want to make as much money as you can, then you should trade as long as you can. But it's not true. First, like I said before, Pareto rule says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your causes. I showed before that they are not only some theoretical numbers. These numbers are observed in real economical processes. Okay, so you see that you can get 80% of your trading profits spending only 20% of time that you spend it now. It means that you can have a little small results and spend much less time on trading. You could use this time on spending it with your friends, family, or even making more money. Because if you apply rules from this video, then you can have more sources of income and use your time efficiently. You can trade more pairs, but you can also start investing in other markets like real estate. Or you can run a new company. But you may also say that you don't want to lose 20% of your profit. Okay, so there is a good news for you, because 80-20 rule also applies for the remaining 20% of your profits. Hence, for example, imagine that you spend 100 hours on trading and you make $100,000. But after this webinar, you apply a Pareto rule and you are able to make $80,000. Trading for only 20 hours. Hence, you have 80 hours more, which you can spend on going to the cinema, fishing, playing with your children, or anything you want. But you're sad because you lose $20,000 and you need this money to pay your bills. But like I said before, 80-20 rule also applies for the remaining 20,000. Before you had to trade for 80 hours to make these 20,000. But after learning Pareto rule, you know that you can trade for only 20% of the remaining 80 hours, which is 16 hours, and make 80% from the remaining 20,000, which is 16,000. And finally, you can trade for 20 plus 16 equals 46 hours and make 80 plus 16 equals 96,000. It means that you can spend only 46% of the time that you spend now on trading and make almost the same amount of money. Don't focus so much on these numbers. It's only an example. It's not important if you need to trade for 26% or 46%. 6% to make 94 or 98% of your current profit. It's important that you can have almost the same results like you have now with much less effort. You may wonder how is it possible that only 20% of your activity generates so much of your results. Yes, it's interesting and I want to focus on that. It may hurt a little bit your ego, but I don't care. I want to give you tools which will give you results, and you will use them only if you get full information. Hence, why does 80-20 rule works? Because in fact, you make a lot of unproductive things, which doesn't give you any results. It's okay, it's normal. Nobody has taught you how to trade. It can be taught from parents, school, or even at Harvard. Many traders are successful doctors, engineers, programmers, or entrepreneurs. Probably you're one of them, or you are successful in some other area. If you have normal work, then bigger effort usually gives you bigger results. For example, if you are a programmer, you work harder, you write more code, or you get a promotion or a pay raise. Or you can take some additional courses, increase your skills, and find a better job. Because of that, when you start trading, then you can follow that pattern. You think that if you work harder, then you will also make more money. But it doesn't work in this way. On the internet, you can find many traders who have spent years and a lot of money, but they still lose. They think that it means that they need to work harder. Hence, they spend more money on courses, seminars, and other materials, but they still lose. You may think that it's not fair and you are somehow right. But it's true, so keep in mind that you can work hard and lose. Okay, but why all these people lose? Many of them are successful in other areas. Otherwise, they wouldn't have money to pay for all these courses, which cost thousands and even more dollars. It's because all these people are so much focused on hard work and they don't have time to take a break and observe their trading and define if it gives them results or not. And I hope that you don't want to be one of these traders. So I will give you tools to increase your performance and find your weak points. Okay, so I will show you how traders usually waste their time on doing things which don't give them any results. If you do one of these things, then please don't get angry. I know all these things because I also made them. First example is overtrading. It means that you just want to trade any time you have. You probably trade on low time frames, like 1 minute or even smaller. If it's your case, then you do it because you think that you will be able to spot more good setups and make more money. But probably you have noticed that it doesn't work in this way. Okay, if you observe market 16 hours per day, then you will probably see more good setups than a trader who trade only 1 hour per day. But it doesn't mean that you will make more money. Yes, it may sound strange for you, but think about your final result. You can have many profitable transactions and still be on the red, because your final result depends also on losses that you take. And if you trade a lot, you trade on low time frames, then you take a lot of transactions, and many of them are losses. And at the end, you are on the red. Of course, there is a small possibility that you will make money. There are traders who trade low time frames and make money. But they make it because before they were profitable on higher time frames. And now they have experience which they can use on lower time frames. But anyway, if you want to be among traders who make money on low time frames, then you have to be aware of downside of this way of trading. There are many of them, but I will give you just few examples. If you trade on a low time frame, like 1 minute, then you take so many trades, you feel so many emotions that you stop thinking in a rational way. Imagine that you start trading. Hence, you see some good setup and you take it. But the market goes against you and you lose. You are sad, but you continue trading. You see next good setup. You are a little bit worried, but you take it. And you make 2 times more money than your previous loss. Now you are proud of yourself and you see yourself in a Ferrari. But after 5 minutes, you see another good setup. You take it and price goes in your favor. It almost touches your take profit, but then it stops and turns around. You see how it goes straight to your stop loss and it hits your stop loss. You check your balance and you see that you have a little less money than when you get started trading. You feel like a loser because you spent time and didn't make any money. Let's analyze this situation. You traded for a couple of hours and you felt very strong emotions. First you were sad. Next you felt euphoria, and after that you were sad and disappointed. You felt a lot of emotions, more than a normal man feel during a day or even a week. Hence, in this situation, it's normal that after this kind of experience, many people don't think rationally. They want to win their money back, money that they deserve, so they start taking stupid transactions without any plan, and after a few hours, they realize that they have lost most of their money. I hope that you see that overtrading is something inefficient. You may think that it's good because you spend a lot of time on work. But in fact, you don't achieve anything because of that. Ask yourself what is more important for you, hard work or making money. For me, it's making money. And don't think that long hard work equals making money. If you think in this way, then go to South Asia or read stories about people who work there 14 hours per day and make $100 per month or less. I hope that you don't want to be this kind of trader. But anyway, I hope that you see that this way of trading doesn't give you anything. You lose your time and money. I know also that it's hard to stop overtrading because it's a kind of habit. And when you have some habit, then you must use special techniques to change it. But relax, I discuss how to stop overtrading on my YouTube channel. You can use this method and get rid of this habit. Okay, I will tell you second reason why 80-20 rule works, or in other words, why most of your trading may be inefficient. It's because of poor money management. I mean here that you don't have a method of defining how many lots you should buy or sell. Usually traders are focused on entering a market. I think that 90% of trading materials is focused on this issue. You can read on forums about triangles, flags, Fibonacci channels, moving averages, but it's only a part of trading. I don't understand why traders are only focused on this issue. There are some sites and materials which will tell you how to close your transaction. It's interesting because it's also a crucial thing. Without good closing your transactions, you will never be a winning trader. But the more important issue is money management. And it's funny because there are only few books which discuss this issue. I said it's funny because money management is even more important than opening and closing your transaction. You can have a great strategy, but if you have poor money management, then you will lose. I can give you an example. Imagine that Tony has a strategy which wins 90% of the time and loses 10% of the time. And an average loss equals an average profit. So Tony is happy because he wins almost any time he trades. He sees it and he buys more lots to win more money. He decides to risk all of his capital and he wins. It's not a surprise because he should win 90% of the time when he trades. Next, Tony trades less because he doesn't want to risk so much. Let's say he risks 20% of his capital and he wins again and again. So what does he feel now? He feels greed and he's frustrated. If he risked 100% of his capital, he would be much richer now. Hence, he risked 100% of his capital, and Tony wins again. He feels like a god. He thinks that he knows when he's going to win or lose. Hence, he places his bets in some intuitive way. When he feels that he's going to win, he places between 50 and 100% of his money. But when he thinks that he's going to lose, he places around 20%. And because 90% of the time he wins, his strategy works. Of course, Tony thinks that he wins because of his intelligence. But then suddenly he risks 100% of his money because he thinks that he must win. But he loses. And he loses all his money that he made before. It's not surprising. He loses 10% of the time, so if he risks 100% of his money, even from time to time, then he must go bankrupt, sooner or later. And he went bankrupt, despite that he won 90% of the time. You may wonder how I created this story. It's not good to say, but I used to think in this way. Like Tony, I used to think that I control markets, that I know if a market will go up or down. Now I know that it was stupid and inefficient way of thinking, so you can learn from my mistakes. But one was only one kind of example. Usually traders just risk too much without any plan. Or they risk more because of some strong emotions. They want to take a revenge, get their money back, or get rich quick. But there is one aspect of money management which is strictly connected with 80-20 rule. Usually traders think that they have to make many profitable transactions to get rich. Because of that, they overtrade or trade on long time frames. But they are wrong. You don't have to take many profitable transactions to get rich. I will show you on an example. Imagine that we have two traders. Smart trader and hardworking trader. They trade the same market and they make their decisions based on signals from their broker. Both of them make money, but smart trader makes much more money than hardworking trader, despite that hardworking trader takes much more transactions than smart trader. How is it possible? Smart trader can choose only the same transactions like hardworking trader because he gets the same signals from his broker. But smart trader takes less signals than a hardworking trader, who takes all signals. You may think that smart trader can predict if a signal will be profitable or not, but it's not the case. If you compare percentages of the winning transactions, how often do they win compared to all transactions? You will get some numbers. You will get the same numbers. Hence, how is it possible? It's possible because smart trader takes only trades that he knows. Of course, he doesn't always win, but he knows how often he will be a winner and what is his expected gain. Because of that, he can use money management and buy as many shares as possible to maximize his profits without risking blowing his account. On the other hand, hardworking trader doesn't know distribution of his outcomes. He takes any signal and he is happy that he wins. But because he doesn't know his outcomes so much, then he can't leverage his gains as much as a smart trader. You may wonder how a smart trader defines the right volume of his trades. It's a long topic, I could talk about it for hours, but I guess that you don't have so much time. Maybe I will make another webinar about this subject. Okay, I gave you some general ideas, so now it's time to give you some practical tips, which will allow you to trade less and achieve more. The most important thing is tracking your transactions. You must track them because you need information to analyze your performance. It will tell you where are the most of your profits and where are your losses. Without this knowledge, it will be impossible for you to find the best results. But you can fix it. Just use some notebook or Excel or other tool. You can also probably get this data from your broker. You should also make some notes why you open this trade, why you close it, and some other important issues. Okay, so I assume that you have this data. So there are some issues that you should be focused on. First, if you day trade, then analyze which hours are the best for your profits. Usually, it will be when market sessions overlap, because you can observe strong moves during these hours. But I don't want to suggest you anything. Maybe your case will be different. Next, check your most profitable transactions. Search for some patterns. Maybe you get most of your money if you enter some special kind of formation, like a triangle or flag. In this situation, maybe you should only take this type of formations and focus on more markets. Because if most of your profits come from flags, but meantime you also try trading pin bars, but you take much less money on pin bars, then there is no sense in trading pin bars. Search also for some other patterns in the most profitable transactions. Like I said before, check hours that you open them. Maybe you make most of your money if you open your transaction at the evening because you are more relaxed than when you trade during working hours. If this is your case, then stop trading during working hours and trade only at the evening. You should also analyze the biggest losses. Maybe they come from some special type of formation, but it's tricky. For example, if you observe that most of your losses come from pin bars, then it doesn't mean that you should stop trading pin bars. It's only a hint. Maybe in this situation you should stop trading pin bars because they generate so much of your losses. But it may be also that the biggest profits come also from pin bars, and your profits are much bigger than your losses. In this situation, it would have no sense to stop trading pin bars because you would cut your profits. You should also check if the biggest losses come from some special state of mind. Maybe you make the biggest losses when you are angry after some previous loss, or when you have some problems at work and you want to take a revenge. In this situation, you need to change your habits. It's a little bit more complicated process. You can check on one of my videos on YouTube where I discuss how to stop overtrading. You should also check markets that you trade. Maybe some markets give you 80% of your profits and other only 20% or even less. In this situation, focus on the most efficient markets. When you know your outcomes, then you can also take advantage of position sizing. Like I said before, if you use it wisely, then you can make only a single trade and make much more than from making hundreds or thousands of small transactions. Of course, it's a little bit more complex process and we don't have time to discuss it. You should also check formations and indicators that you use in your strategy. Do they give you any advantage? If not, then of course stop using them. Simple methods are the best, so don't complicate trading. Okay, that's all. I gave you many useful tips, so check them. If you have any questions, then I will switch chat on and I will answer your question with pleasure. Okay, chat is switch on. I'm waiting for your questions. I don't see any questions, so see you next time and happy trading.